Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Deva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. From as I told you, from the 31st verse onwards, it is Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam means what? It's Vedantic Dhyanam. Not sitting in one place or anything. All the time, what is Vedantic Dhyanam? All the time, this idea that I am Brahman, there is no I different from Brahman. Even there is no mind different from Brahman. Mind is only like the Ghatakasha is not different from Mahakasha. Even the Jiva, one who arrogates all activities to oneself, called Jiva. Jiva is not different from Jivo Nabaraha. Brahmaiva. This basic factors we should never forget. The one who is arrogating is a ego is none other than the Atman, the self, superimposed by us, by our ignorance. Avidya has superimposed a jiva bhavam on the Atman. So that was said there, Mano drishyamidam dvaidam yat kinchit sacharacharam. Sacharacharam, along with in this world, movable or immovable, whatever yat kinchit, whatever is perceived is nothing but the drishyam of the mind. That's movable is nothing but the perceptions of the mind. It is perceived by the mind, and that perception is what bring about Dvaita. Little he is taking all, first he allows you some support, then removes that support. In fact, Brahman is not seeing anything. Then who is seeing? That jiva bhava or that ego who arrogates himself to himself all perceptions, he sees. And what he sees is not correct. Manaso hamani bhave dvaidam novalabhyate. Namani bhavam comes to the mind. When will it come? Huh? What? Okay. Amani bhavam. Deep sleep, there is no mind. The question does not arise. But what deep sleep example we take to prove Anvaya, Vidireka, coexistence, co-presence and co-absence. You understand? That's an example to tell you that when there are no thoughts, then mind doesn't see anything. In the deep sleep, it doesn't see Atman also. It doesn't see Dvaidam also. That you should remember. There is no understanding at that time. In deep sleep state. Amani Bhavam is when I am seeing and not seeing. How can that be? So, the spandanam of the mind only makes you see the duality. The spandanam is not there. Vibration is not there. Hence I don't see. It's a sort of very difficult. Not even the mind is seeing, but the mental vibrations give rise to the illusion of a world which is pluralistic. Have you understood what Gaudapada is saying? Even really speaking, I don't remember about Amani Bhavam. I have heard, but what is Amani Bhavam? Its description is so beautifully given here, but not in all texts. Okay, what J. Krishnamurti will put it this way: I am a seer, but I am seeing everything without the mind. It is called Amani Bhava. Without the mind means? I don't interpret what I see. Then I am in Amani Bhava. You understand? The mind's activities are not there. I am seeing, but I don't allow the mind to interpret it for me. This is that type of a tree. This will bear fruit at that time. And then its fruit is like this. A whole biodata of the tree is with you, kept in the mind in capsule form. And the mind keeps on. As soon as you see a man on the road, it tells you all about that man if you know him. If you don't know him, of course, mind is indifferent and you are also indifferent. But if you know him, all his biodata will be given to you by the mind. You understand? This what do you call commentary, continuous, like you hear the cricket commentary or something, that continuous commentary of the mind is no longer there. Then you are in Amani Bhava. Okay, so how do I stop it? I have to stop the thought flow. I have to stop. And you cannot stop it. What is the source of the thoughts? That you have to stop. Objects are not the... Objects are innocent. Ragadvesha. What you have to stop? Ragadveshas. Kamakrodhas. Because that is what gives rise to the vibration of the mind. Ragadvesha vivarjidam manaha. That is a mind which has no thoughts. Or I don't have any jealousy, hatred, anger, envy. No thoughts. If you don't have. If you have, lot of thoughts. Even if you are not telling anybody, it is going on in the, like a, it goes on. That fellow did like this woman did like that, and she said like that. Her face also is not correct. Continuous. So who is a man ready for this? Proper vision is one without ragadvesha. And why we are not able to see without the mind? That mindless seeing is not yours. Why? Because we have got so many negativities in us which keeps on bothering you. Mindlessness does not mean the destruction of the mind, but a mind with ragadveshas and all things are there. And mindlessness means it's a pure mind. What is mindlessness? A pure mind without all that disturbs its tranquility, that is not there. But a mind is doesn't create any problem for you. That was said, mind has lost its essential nature, thinking, thought flow, a state of transcending the mind, not how to transcend the mind? We have already seen. Not even a new knowledge, not a pramana, not doubts are cleared in this. In Nididhyasana is for removing our habitual. This you must really remember. What is Nididhyasana? It is not a new experience, not even a new knowledge. The knowledge I already got when I Shravana Kale, I have received the knowledge. And that knowledge was Dridikaranam has taken place in the Mananakalam. You understand? You have made it your own knowledge only when you have, I had employed yukti and proved it to be right. And then after Mananam, you get doubtless knowledge. In Shravanam, there are always doubts. But when Mananam is completed or reflection is successful, what will happen? I go with the Shruti. There is no more any doubt in your mind. That doubtless knowledge is what creates the feeling that I know. And then thereafter, in Nididhyasana time, you are not thinking any new thoughts. No, not. It is not a pramana. Nididhyasana is not a pramana. Nor doubts are cleared in Nididhyasana. The doubts clearing is in the Manana. And Nididhyasana is contemplation. What is Nididhyasana? All the time remembering. Remembering what? The nature of the self. Remembering the nature of the self is called Nididhyasana. So, it's a great help. I mean, so many people combine both and say Nididhyasana means meditation. No. Nididhyasanam is a continuous process for the sadhaka. Always self-forgetfulness is removed by Nididhyasana. Remembering that I am that Atman is Nididhyasana. And Nididhyasana is for removing our habitual orientation and erroneous thinking. Now I know it is not that because I have already cleared my doubts. Not by asking anybody, but by your own thinking. You understand? If you ask somebody else, they will tell you what they had done the Mananam with. It's not going to clear your doubts. Your doubts can be cleared only by your Mananam. I have doubts, I will clear it by using yukti, by thinking. What we call Atma Vicharam. How do you clear your doubts? By Atma Vicharam. And that clearing the erroneous thinking, habitual orientation is called Nididhyasanam. Now, the mind, we have already told you that the Dvaidam causes the samsara and the mind causes Dvaidam. When the mind becomes no mind, there is no samsara. And how it will happen? By doing Nididhyasana continuously. So, what are the three methods a Vedantin has to use is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. But we stop with Shravana and says, when is the next class? They were pestering me. When is the next? What is the use of next class? What you have heard, you have to do Nididhyasanam and awaken to the truth. Without that, why you want more classes? One class is more than enough. So it has become like a pastime for you. What? Shravana Manana. Past time. I feel like telling that. But how long should I do Shravana? Until you have done Manana and cleared all your doubts. And now I am in a mood of an inner contemplative mind. A mind which is contemplative. What is contemplative mind? A mind which is going all the time towards the source. A mind which is sinking into itself, into in the consciousness from which it has come. So, going to it again and again and again. And as you go on thinking about the source of the mind, what will happen is the mind gets rid of all these preoccupations in the world of OET, PFT. PFT dies. Where Nididhyasanam is properly done, PFT also, I am not there. I am that. Like the idea comes to you. So this state of mind is called Amani Bhavam. I don't know what my book says. Let me see. In the book it is said, all duality is seen by the mind, and mind is there when duality, chara or achara, with all its vikalpas are seen. When the mind is negated, falsified, when the mind is falsified, Amani Bhavam, there is no more duality. Falsified means this mind spandanam has stopped. Raga dveshas are gone. Like that in a purified mind, manasam tu margane kride naiva manasam. Ramana says, there is no mind at all. Mind as we know it now has stopped. Okay. And now this is self is the, mind is the second level, subject, object one level, and mind is the second level, self is the mind is the third level. This way you go on thinking. You understand? One by one. And subject object is the grahya grahagam. Whatever is there here is the mind. This is the, when mind is there, everything is there. Nirodha of the mind is not stopping of thoughts, but stopping all raga dvesha. That is very important. How will I get Amani Bhavam? By the stopping of all raga dveshas by viveka. How do I stop it? Correct? It's all from the Bhashya only. By Viveka Darshana, my Raga Dveshas will go away. A general, and I told you that story, a general can, when the mind really becomes quiet, as in deep sleep or samadhi, there is no duality. So, even in the waking state, you can have a mind which is free of duality when there are no Raga Dveshas. Likes and dislikes. But how you never say? How to stop the raga dveshas? How did you get it? I don't know. Getting it is in itself erroneous perception. And now how to stop it? Why should I have raga dvesha? When I am all perfect, purnaha, Atma, why should I have any raga dvesha towards anybody? One way of thinking. Second way of thinking is that there is nobody other than me. Then with whom can I have raga and dvesha? If there is somebody else only, you can have hatred or attachment. There is nobody other than me. This constant groove of thinking has to be acquired, which is called Nididhyasanam. And my understanding of that Atma Tattvam gives me a Raga Dvesha Varjidam Manah, which you'll see in the next, this we have already done. Amani Bhava is a chiseled expression of such exquisite beauty. Gurudev writes here, chiseled expression, very perfected expression. Chiseled means, what is chiseled? In a statue, to make it beautiful, the last things you chisel it out. Make it beautiful, artistic. Understand? So, such exquisite beauty and ethereal harmony that it defies translation. So if anybody asks you to translate the word, what? Amani Bhavam, it's very, very difficult. It's of such perfect beauty. Man, Aman is non-mind, and Amani Bhava is equivalent to saying non-mindness. There is no mind. That is called Amani Bhava. The non-mindhood is Godhood. That is. Then what are you? God. Godliness. Okay. The Gurudev writes like that, the non-mindhood is Godhood. Looking down from the balconies of the non-mindhood, the imperfect world of phenomena cannot be available for perception. There is no more duality available to such a mind. That mind is in a different realm altogether. And you cannot see the duality. So the goal of yoga is to reach this sublimation of the mind, and all spiritual sadhana is thus at the non-mindhood, and the entry of the mortal into realm of the immortal is achieved. When this dissipated mind and intellect equipment is once forever shattered, when the mind has entered, their supermanhood has started. When mind has entered, don't think that we destroy the mind. Only thing is, remove it, chisel out its imperfections. For which what you should do? You have to become aware of your mind. Awareful living is Nididhyasana. Awareful living. You are living in awareness of your own limitations and your own thinking, which is not logical. That becoming aware of your limitations is called Nididhyasana. All the doubts have ended now, and I start living in awareness of my mind. Even a whisper of a thought is known to you, it doesn't escape you. Whereas now we live in total unconsciousness. Do you believe? Total unconscious. Even the breathing you are not aware, are you? Such an intimate thing is happening. What? I am breathing. But unless I tell you in the morning in meditation, become aware of your breathing, you are not even aware. Consciously do everything. Consciously breathe. Consciously become aware of your body and its problems. That is what relaxation means. To become conscious of living in consciousness. It's called conscious Nididhyasana. And where the mind has entered, there phenomena, and to such a perfected man, the pluralistic world of phenomena cannot be real. For he is no more looking out in the world through any distorting mental apparatus, but he perceives through his clear spiritual glasses. He has changed his glasses. He went to the best ophthalmologist and removed that old glasses of one is raga, one is Dvesha. And he removed that. Now what is he wearing? What is that we call? Progressive glasses. Now he is wearing progressive glasses. All that. It goes on changing according to what you are seeing. That is called progressive class. And what is this type of seeing? Awareful seeing. Conscious seeing. I look out and only see the essence of everything. Vishwatma. I am seeing the Atman of the Vishwam itself, and that is real. In the next stanza, we are given the secret of how to reach this state of non-mindhood. I hope they give some really good points so that we can practice every day. Always they point out the defect, but they never tell us how to get rid of it. It says, Atma Satyanubodhena Na Sankalpayate Yada Amanastam Tadayadi Grahya Bhave Tadagraham. Atma Satyanubodhena. This verse is mind-blowing. Gurudev says mind-blowing. It is. Atma Satyanubodhena. Bodham, conscious. I am aware of the Atma Satyam. That which is the Satyavastu. Anubodhena. Anubodhena? Continuously. Anu means continuous. Not a moment when I am unaware of my true nature. Atma Satyam is the truth, and I am never forgetting. Their self-forgetfulness is gone from me. This is called Atma Satya Anubodha. Ever conscious of the truth of myself, of the truth of the Atman. Na sankalpayade da. And the thoughts of OET, PFT and all are thrown out. Na sankalpayade. There is no sankalpa. Because mind itself is sankalpa vikalpatmagam manaha. These sankalpas and vikalpas have come to an end. Because now the mind knows what is the truth of itself. From where it has come and where it has to go, everything it knows. Why? Because of Atma Satyanu Bodhena. And this mind-blowing experience he has every moment of his life. In another talk, Gurudev said, he is blissed out. These words are not used. Only he can use this word. Blissed out. He has become, the mind is blissed out, not destroyed. He is in total bliss. You understand? And because he knows his relationship with the Atman. Blissed out of all duality. No more there is duality. And ceases to be all amanastam tad sankalpayade yada na sankalpayade. No sankalpa is there, no vikalpa is there, no misconception is there, and no more imagination is there in that mind. See, when we describe mind usually, sankalpa vikalpatmaka manaha, then samshayatma manaha, nischayatma buddhi. Buddhi is, this is what it is. Like that buddhi is nischayam. But mind is, should I do this? Or should I, if I do this, what will happen? If I don't do this, what will happen? Like that, they will go from one to another, the ordinary mind. But here, he is now sure of what he has to do. And what is it? All this is Brahman. And hence, what I see as something else is all vikalpa. He knows he is making a misconception. hence he says, no ceases to be. In other words, revealed to such a mind, the Amani Bhavam, which has attained Amani Bhavam, their depth reality is revealed to that mind. The mind has become prepared for the realization, is what he says here. And he says, Amanastam tadayadi. No vritti is there when there is nothing to burn. The fire is not a burner. So also, when there is nothing to see, there is nothing, no object to be seen for a man who has reached that state. Everything is that alone. Understand? There is nothing to be seen. There is no object thereafter. Meaning, you must always supply, extend. I can only use words to tell you what that experience is. But what it will be, you have to find out for yourself. What is that experience? Whatever I see is nothing but that Brahma. Brahma Anuchintanam. Another word is there. One book is there. Brahma Anuchintanam. Brahma Anuchintanam. All the time only. What is that? That's also Brahman. Who is your enemy? Who is your friend now? Having such a mind, where is the enemy? Where is the friend? Everything dissolves. Tada yadi atma amanastam tada yadi. He attains, the mind becomes free from the idea of cognition and the cognizer, the Kshetra and Kshetrajna, or the subject and the object, because the subject and the object are one and the same. The mind which has become the cognizer because of consciousness, and the object which is the object of consciousness, which is also the mind in another form, Jada form, is called object. In the conscious form, Chaitanya form, it is called the grahaka, grahya grahaka bhavam. Now there are no objects to see. All are merged in that mind. Then, what is not a grahya? There are no agraham, tadagraham, grahya abhave, tadagraham. There is nothing to grahana. There is nothing to know because there are no objects there. Hence, grahya grahaka bhavam comes to an end. So, amani bhavam is what? No raga dveshas. Then, atma satyanu bodham is there, and there is no grahya grahaka bhavam. Three things are. And then what do you see? Nothing. There are no objects at all. I can only see Brahman everywhere. If you are a Bhakti Margi, you will say, everywhere I look, I see my Krishna. What he is hanging from some tree is like a fruit. It's my understanding. Everywhere I look, I see my Lord. Ram. It is said about Kabir, he could not see Ram everywhere. So he knew his realization is not complete. You have to see that Paramatma everywhere. Then only your understanding has become complete. And then only he goes to Ramananda and wants to be taken as a Shishya. And Ramananda didn't say anything, great man he was. But the Shishyas around him, என்ன சொல்றது அவருக்கெல்லாம் சுத்துப்படி. People around the Mahatmas, they won't allow you to come near the Mahatma. Is it not? When Gurudev was alive also, we used to wait outside, but they won't allow you in. Who are they? So also they didn't allow. They said, that fellow, we don't know whether he's a Muslim or a Christian or what. Muslim or Hindu, we don't know. Because we don't know, they did not know, even now we also don't know whether Kabir was really a Muslim. He was brought up by a Muslim couple. But whether he was born a Muslim or a Hindu, nobody knew. And nobody bothered to find out. So we cannot, our teacher is not for such people, only pure caste Hindus. You understand? Only them we will teach. So you go. They shouted it. So he went, and next day he was lying down at 4 o'clock in the Ganges near the, what do you call, steps. And Ramananda, without seeing the darkness, he trampled on him and he said, whom did I now kick with my leg? Ram, Ram, he shouted. Raman, because Ramananda Swami is ever reveling in that Ram Nam. So Kabir got, now I got my Adesham. I got Guru Upadesham. And he got up and he started singing Aaj Mile, Aaj Sakhe. And it is also said that immediately Kabir could see Ram everywhere. Until that Guru is not there, sometimes the Shastra says, what is it? Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Acharyavan, one who has an Acharya, one who has a teacher, one who has learned from a teacher, he knows the truth. Like that. It did not say one who will read 100 books will. No. It's not merely reading, it's not merely an interaction with the teacher. There is a spiritual bond between the student and the teacher. At least this is a subjective science. If it's mathematics or physics or chemistry, whatever it is, you can teach without any connection with your student. It's like teaching a wall. You understand? You cannot teach a spiritual student like that. It's a different type of teaching. In the Gurukula, it was always different. And nobody questioned the teacher. Whatever he said, it is right. In those days, not anymore. If I do all that trick now here, there will be only 1 or 2 people sitting here. Everybody will go home. Okay. So, amanastam tadayadi. Amanastam there means no vritti at all. The mind is absolutely quiet. Tadayadi. Grahya bhave tadagraham. Because there is nothing to, no objects to perceive, and there is no perception. When there is no object to perceive, there is no perception, then dualistic or otherwise. There is no perception at all. This is the trance mind. In other words, mindless state means when there is nothing to burn, the fire dies down. Is it not? Suppose you are going on putting firewood in the fire will burn as long as there is firewood. The moment the firewood is gone, upashamam, it comes to quietude. In Rameshwar Paramahamsa says, when the fire starts burning, it makes a lot of noise. Pata, 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 pata. Have you heard? One type of when the firewood is burning, if you don't know what it is, because now your modern people all gas and go and stand there when the prakasha is burning the firewood in the body. Kata kata, that firewood will crack. You understand? But when that firewood is gone, it settles down, and only inside there are live coal inside, but no sound. All shabdam has stopped. All gadbad has gone. So also a mind which has become Amani Bhava, it has no more agitation. It's a very quiet mind. Because there's nothing to think about, no raga dveshas, no kama krodhas, no nothing. So it lies down as is coiled as it were in itself. Those precious moments of meditative poise we have to acquire. So, what does the book say now? The book says, the Atma Satyam gives no room for anything else. Is it not? What is the Satyam? Atma Satyanubhodhena, it is said there. Following the teaching of the Shastras, one attains Atma Satyanubhodham. And it doesn't give room for any other thought, as it were. And no more sankalpas take place. There is no room for sankalpa and vikalpa. The very nature of the mind has changed. Sankalpa vikalpatmaka mana has now become sure of what it is seeing. Because of its newly found knowledge of Atma Satyam, and no more sankalpas take place. Mind then becomes amanaha. When there is no oil, there will be no burning and the fire does not shoot up. It slowly dies down. Non-perception is yoga method, but in Vedanta one knows one is the Atma and disowns the mind. Vedanta method is different from the yoga method. Yoga method prescribes chitta vritti nirodham. What is yoga method? Chitta vritti nirodham. The not owning the thoughts. So, or suppressing the thoughts. What is Vedanta method? Vedanta method is non-perception is not our method. Perceive that also. The mind that is full of thoughts, the mind that has no thoughts, both you can perceive. The Atman, which is the consciousness which is aware of a mind full of thoughts, a mind without thoughts, both. Just as consciousness can see darkness and light. Is it not? All the opposites illumined by the consciousness. So also the consciousness can see that the mind is today full of thoughts. Now my mind has no thoughts. Both are known to. So what should you do in meditation? Don't try to suppress anything. Let the mind flow. You stand on the banks of the mind and let the thoughts flow. The thoughts are flowing. I am not either trying to stop them or trying to react to them. This is a very important point which you should always remember in meditation. I will not stop the mind and I will not react to the mind. Once you react, Amani Bhavam gone. Don't worry. So, when I take meditation for them, I always say, just watch the thoughts passing one after the other in a, uninvolved witnesshood. Don't become involved. Don't answer any thought. Then what will happen? You don't answer any thought, the mind will just move. Next thought will come. Next thought will come. Next thought will come. It will go. But it doesn't bother. Is that clear? All your problems are you react to every thought. In fact, mind is the one which has to be taken care of in this flight into the beyond. Yoga method, one knows one is the Atma and disowns the mind. So whether the mind has got lot of thoughts or whether it is disturbed, I see the mind, but I am not going to answer the mind. I am not going to react to the mind. I don't give it reality at all. Who I? Consciousness. Mind gives up all the agraham. No more there are any, what do you call agraham? There is no object-subject division also. And it states in its own, where is it? So long as you are thinking with your mind, you cannot reach that higher state. You have stopped that all the thinking, and am not involved in any of the sankalpa, vikalpa, etc. The mind becomes quiet, and when the thinking has stopped, then that is called Brahmajnana. Brahmajnanam is not some different state where all the mind has disappeared. That state is called Amanibha. As long as there is the thoughts in the mind, you cannot say there is no world, the world is unreal, and I am not there either. All this is not possible to say when the mind, vyaparam in the mind is going on. You cannot do that. And when the Amani Bhavam comes, there will be Samadhi, there will be, in the yoga parlance, we say there is Samadhi, there is Brahmajnanam, and the absence of Dvaita Buddhi. How do I do Nididhyasanam like that all the time? Remembering your true nature, you attain. And says in the next verse, it's a very big, huge. Next is akalpagamajam jnanam jnaya bhinnam prajakshate brahma jneyamajam nityam ajenajam vibudhyade. So, akalpagam ajam jnana, very important verse. Gurudev writes there peculiar verse. It is explained, this is a very important verse. He says, the knowledge which is unborn, ajam, and free from all imaginations, ajam, akalpagam. Akalpagam means free from all imagination, is inseparable from the knowable. Jnaya vastu means the knowable, the great knowable is called Jnayam. Where did you see this? You must read the 13th chapter to know fully this. There is the Jnayam, the difference between Jnanam and Jnayam. You remember the sources? In that, once more you read the 13th chapter and you will see Jnanam is not different from Jnayam. Then there is no difference between Jnanam and Jnayam. Jnanam itself is Jnayam. Jnaya vastu is nothing but Jnanam. There was, what is the word they use there? Jnanagamyam. No, and it can be called Jnanam, something like that say. Only there is a difference between Jnanam and Jnayam. Only those verses are connected to this. And there, the Jnaya Vastu itself is called Jnanam. What is Jnaya Vastu? Now don't say Brahma. What is Jnaya Vastu? Huh? You mean to say Brahman is an object or what? Ah. Jnaya Vastu is myself. What is to be known? Self. I have to know myself. That is the Jnaya Vastu. That is why what takes place, what is knowledge in there is realization, is there is nobody, there is no knower, the known division is gone. Then what remains? Only knowledge. You understand? That is being pointed out. Jnanat abhinna, jnaya abhinnam, other than the jnaya. Abhinnam, not other than, or it is identical with jnaya vastu. In other words, the one who is going in search of this jnanam is himself the knowable. There it is quite difficult. When you are chanting Om Namah Shivaya in the meditation, then you must ask, where is Namah Shiva? Who is Shiva? And you must understand, Shiva is also myself. Is it not? Aham Brahmasmi. So also Aham. There is no difference between the Upasya and the Upasaka. And what happens? The Upasana. And in that Upasana what happens? Upasyam becomes Upasaka. There is a Abhinnatvam. Abhinnatvam means non-separatedness. Have you understood this? So he is saying here, akalpagam ajam, and it is where there is no thought, unborn. Akalpagam, there is no kalpana at all. The knowledge which is unborn. Akalpa, there is no kalpana that it will be born in some future. That is not there. And free from all imagination. Akalpagam ajam is always inseparable from the knowables, the immutable and the birthless Brahman. Jnaya abhinnam prajakshade. I will tell you that where there is no thought. Where there is no thought means? Amani bhavam is there. Incomparable definition of pure consciousness, isn't it? Gurudeva has told in that, when we will be hearing that, if there is nothing, no other definition of Atman can be equal to this. It is an incomparable one, pure consciousness. Brahma jneyam ajam nityam ajenajam vibudhyate. Brahman is the sole object of knowledge, and the birthless is known only by the birthless. Narayana knows his famous quotation. Only when you have become Narayana, you can know Narayana. Who knows? Question will ask, the student will ask the question, who knows this Brahman? When you have Brahmi Bhuda, when you have become the state of Brahman, then you will know that the Jiva, or the one who thinks he is a individualized being, he can never know Brahman. Where is it? Never. So I thought is there. As long as I think I am a Upasaka, I am a seeker, I am this, I am that, you can never know Brahman. When that mind has become Amani Bhava, I attained that Amani Bhava, it's a very high state. Then in that mind, where there are no sankalpas about itself or about anything, such a mind, akalpagam ajam jnanam jneya bhinnam prajakshade. So, in this stanza, the knowledge which Gaudapada, Gurudev says in there, the mud pot cries out. What does it say? I want to realize the clay. Suppose mud pot says, I want to realize the clay. How can you realize? Now you are saying, we want to realize Brahman or Ishvara, whatever. How can you realize? So hence Ramana Maharshi said, when will I realize Bhagavan? Somebody asked, and he said, when I is gone. When the I thought is gone, you will realize. When the mind has become Amani Bhava, has attained Amani Bhava, you will attain Brahmajnanam, and you know immediately that I am not different from what I am seeking to know. Tattvam Asi. This is a very, any description of the highest is always difficult for the intellect to understand. So if you did not understand, I have no objection. That is very tough. Then what do you think? It will be easy to know the truth? It will be like that only. Okay, so then he says here, and I think we have to stop. Amani Bhava is not the absence of thoughts, but the absence of thought of duality. The seeker has no more desires and he seeks nothing. Agraham. There is no agraham for anything. Karmanaha akarmi bhavaha will then be the result. If all this is false, then by what and how are we to know the truth? The question is there. In the mind alone, the modifications take place, but the self has no vikaras. Akalpidam. Akalpidam there means parinama varjitam. Akalpidam means it is not going to be modified. There is no modification in that mind. That such a mind is called akalpidam. And ajam sarva kalpana varjidam. Akalpidam sarva kalpana varjidam. Jnanam jnapti matra. So what is jnanam? Only knowledge. Knowledge. Jnapti means knowledge. So jnanam itself is knowledge. Jnanam, knowledge itself is the great knowable, and the process is called, both are identical, they are not different. Jnanam is not abhinnam from jneyam. Jnanam is not different from jneyam. How can we say all this? How can jnanam not be different? For some time you call it jnanam. Then you realize that what is that jnanam? Brahmajnanam. And what is Brahmajnanam? I am that. When you reach there, the salt doll went in search of measuring the ocean, and when it reached there, it was not there. Gamyam also is again all words, and we cannot explain the words with reference to the higher. The words confuse us. So if he says here that we will see Gurudev what he says, and then we can understand it better, I hope. With what? If the mind is Amani Bhavam has attained, with what will I know the truth? With what will I come to that Jneya Vastu? He said here, Manasaivedam aptavyam. Where? In which Upanishad? Manasaivedam aptavyam. In the Kathopanishad. With the mind alone I can see here. Mind which has become now purified only I can know. And yet we say you must come to the Amani Bhavam. That means the mind is not there at all, no Sankalpa, no Vikalpa. Then how can I know? Kathopanishad says Manasaivedam Atmavyam. So this verse is the reply for that. Sarva Kalpana Varjida Jnanam and Jneyam, they are not two different things. Sarva Kalpana Varjidam Manaha and Jnanam that you have, the knowledge that you have, is not different from Brahman. Jneya Vastu is here Brahman. Is it not? It is not different from Brahman, meaning thereby you are that Brahman. That's all. To make, use so many words. Jneyam, then both are same. Do you need something else? With what ubadhi you are going to know it? He says, Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. This is all from the Shruti. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma. Jnaya Brahma is Jnana Surupa. In other words. Where do you know? Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma. Jnanam is Brahman. Already said in the Shruti. Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma. Satchit Anandam. That chit is only Jnanam. So Jnanam and Jneyam are abhinnam. Is what here they are trying to establish. Therefore, when your knowledge takes place of the nature of my own Surupa Jnanam takes place. What Jnanam? Surupa Jnanam takes place. Jneya, the knowable Atma Tattvam, you know how Swayam, by yourself. There is no need for anybody. That is called realization. The consciousness become aware of consciousness. There always we question, ego is gone, and the mind is as good as not there. Amani Bhavam. Then who is doing? Who is realizing? There is nothing to realize. Then you are yourself. Bas. By, what do you say? Atmanyeva. Atmani. Atman alone realizes. And here also he says, like Agni and the heat is the relationship between Jnana and Jneya. Agni and the heat. Who knows that heat? Agni doesn't know the heat. We don't know whether Agni knows the heat. We know the heat. Is it not? If you touch the Agni, we will know the heat. Who knows that heat? But one thing we know, just to make it hot, we don't need another object. We don't have to make Agni hot. Cold padartham, we might make it hot. But Agni, we need not make it because it is its own very nature. Jnana Surupa Atma. To know that, you don't need another knowledge. How will I know? Atman. You don't know Atman. You be Atman. That's all. Have you got this? It is not knowing. Knowing is when the objects are dual. I am not knowing the Atman. I know myself. I know Atman as myself. That is why it is said that Jnanam is abhinnam from Jneyam. It's a difficult words. Jnanam is abhinnam from jneyam because it is me alone. It is not something else. If it is something else, it is an object or it has got some guna, then I can know it as an object, as separate from me. But it is not separate from me. The one who is searching for it himself is the Atman, and hence there is no, and hence, like Swayam Jyotishatvad, because of Swayam Prakashagatvad, it knows itself. Who knows? I only know. What do I know? I am the Jnayavastu. That which I am searching is myself. And hence in the Chandogyopanishad, Uddalaka Muni tells Shvetaketu 9 times, that is you, that is you, that is you. And here in the verse itself, it says, that is known Brahma Jneyam Ajam Nityam Ajena Ajam Vibudhyade. By the unborn, only the unborn will be understood, not by anybody else. Hence, to make this very clear, Gurudev always said, only Narayana can know Narayana. Have you understood that verse? Narayana can know Narayana. When you have reached the state of Brahmi Sthiti, then you will know. What do you know? I don't know some other object. My knowledge is that I am that. There is no duality there. There is only me.
I know myself.
As myself. I know myself as myself. This knowledge is called realization. The object, the Aprameya Swaprakasha Atma, unborn alone can know the unborn. I am the Vedavid in the 15th chapter. I am the one who knows the Vedas. I am the Veda Karta. What is that verses? I forget now. Veda Videva Chaham. Then it's okay, you may be knowing the Vedas, but I am the one who is realizing, the Jiva says. And then he says, no, I alone can know Veda, not you. Why? When I become I-ness, that individuality is dropped only, I realize. Why you are not realizing? It's because of our inability to drop the individuality. Until the door of the truth, we carry our ego. The moment you reach the door of the truth, Gurudev says you drop the ego. Then you are awakened to the truth. With the, like Trishangu, you can't get in. With your ego, you can't get into the hall of truth. Veda Videva Chaham. I am the one who knows. I am the one who knows the Jnaya, that great knowable Nyapti Swarupa Atma. And I am not different. If you say I know, then you will be like the Kena Upanishad student. If you say you know, you don't know. Do you understand? So that immediately you have to add, I know as myself. Okay? Now have you understood? I am that. Is that? Think over. Kadam smarami. Tasya smridit tatra dridhaiva nishtha. You have to remember that Paramatma, I cannot know him as another from me, as a different from me. That is why it is said, Jnanam and Jneyam are one and the same. Because if I know him as an object, it is like any other object in the world. Not like that. Then as what? As myself. Tatra. So, Ramana Maharshi in the Sadarshan Bhashya, first verse itself he says, how can I remember that Nirguna, Nirvishesha Brahman? Tasya Smriti. And only way I can remember it is Tatra Dridhaiva Nishtha. I become established in that Atmanishta. That is the only smaranam I can have of Brahman. So, even if you say Om, 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 don't think you are remembering. You cannot remember it. Separate from you. It's very difficult. Not difficult. Always realization is difficult only. Not easy. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Hari.